Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bricks and Dragons. Today, I'm just kind of doing a little my take on the Fallout. Now, I've watched the first two episodes. I'm really just going to talk about the first one. I watched it twice. Um, this isn't to reveal anything. This is just my thoughts on the whole thing. I know I see people that like it, some don't like it, some people that have issues with it. It's going back and forth. Um, as someone that's played the games for a while, I've got the role playing game. I mean, you guys have seen that I'm doing a role playing game. I've kind of gone through and tried to learn a lot of the extra lore and the other things going on here, and understanding that there will always be limitations as far as doing any filming whatsoever. Um, you can mitigate some of that stuff by spending more time doing post production stuff. Modifying vehicles with CGI and all that stuff. But um, first, let's just kind of get into it. So we are introduced to three characters, really a fourth character, although I really don't know the gentleman's name. Maybe it is said in there. First, we start off with Lucy. So we have a female vault dweller that um, her father's taken, so she leaves the vault. We have Maximus, who is a initiate there in the Brotherhood of Steel for whatever the chapter is. And I've heard some grumblings about that of, well, this doesn't fit here. This, you know, roughly from my understanding, we are looking at about 12 years after Fallout 4. So whether that means that, you know, we see the Peregrine come in. Well, they're calling it something else. So maybe they sent back schematics and someone else rebuilt what the Peregrine was. Who knows? You can argue these things back and forth till the light goes out. Um, we'll just take it for what it is. And at the end of the day, if you like it, keep watching it. If you don't like it, turn it off and don't watch another episode. You know, but going from there, um, people have brought up that we have a female character that is not perfect. She doesn't know everything. She's struggling through things, which is something else that I find to be very true. So in that regard, uh, it works out pretty good. um, the big complaints I usually hear is whenever we have a strong female character, they don't do anything wrong. There is no real character growth. We want to have a journey with characters, whether it's a gentleman or a woman or a kid or whoever. We want to have growth there. We want to see that they're growing, they're improving themselves. We fumble at the beginning, and then maybe we fumble a little bit at the end, but not as much. We've grown into our character. We've really become what we needed to be. Um, and we see like she's or with Lucy, she's been doing a lot of stuff in the background. She's not perfect, but she's been doing a lot of stuff. She's being taken out of her own element there in the vault to now interact with the rest of the world, and she's stumbling here. We have Maximus, who he has some intelligence. I mean, they have him written off like he does have some sort of intelligence. He doesn't know what a switch is. Um, he's not good fighting. He's getting his butt kicked when we first meet him. Um, you know, if later on he starts learning how to fight and defend for himself and to really grow in that regard and to understand the technology that typically we look at the Brotherhood of Steel as kind of cherishing and worshiping and hoarding to themselves. And then we go from there. And then the third character, I heard the name of his character and I can't remember it when because we meet him when he's a human, and then we see him later on as a ghoul. So then we bring him in as the ghoul. And at this point, when we meet him as a ghoul, he's no longer an actor. He's been running around for the last 220 years. He seems more like he is a gun for hire, a mercenary, someone that's done a lot of odd jobs, kind of really messy jobs. Um, and that's why they were kind of taking him and trying to get him to do their dirty work for him. And of course, then he turns the tables and he kind of deletes the people that kind of pull him out of the grave there. So with that's a opening of where we are, and we're doing all right. When you're bringing in characters like this, it takes a little bit to get things going. So I've heard that before too. I know my best friends watched all of them and all that. I'm not trying to go beyond what we had in the first episode. I'll rewatch the second episode and I'll do another short little video. These are just my short thoughts and all that stuff. It's nothing serious. And like I say every time, this is all stuff for fun. You know, I have issues with some stuff or whatever. And I think I'm going to do another one or a couple more of these. I've got something else I really want to talk about. Um, it's just some of those things because I'm a hodgepodge channel. I do a little this and I do a little that. Being very small, um, you know, I'd love to do the Legos and I'm having fun with it and I will always be doing Legos because only problem is right now I'm just limited on space, but we're going to have fun. Everything here is for fun. Doing the role playing games. I love doing the role playing games. That's how we kind of got into Fallout. It was a role playing game I could do. I didn't have to think about running it. And then I could compare notes with my best friend and all that stuff, or maybe we could talk online while we're playing the game. Um, it's all that fun stuff. But the last character we really meet, and I don't know his name either. It's the scientist that we run into. So the scientist is the key to the whole story here. To what degree, I don't know. Typically, it sounds like he's part of the Enclave. Now, in this little scenario that they have for the show, it looks like the Enclave has kind of built up a bigger research laboratory for what they're doing. What it means for the wasteland, I don't know. Um, that's something that I'm sure that they're going to explain farther on down. The questions I kind of had at the beginning was we meet Lucy, we meet her father, she gets married off to someone in Vault 32, which is like right across the hall, but the father sitting there saying he's from Vault 31. Now, we didn't see that right away. Now, I do hear that Vault 31, so you had 31, 32, and 33 all kind of together. So even though they were separate vaults, they were there to kind of help share stuff. Okay, well, that does answer that question. Um, I've heard that there's answers to other things later on. So, I'm not really worrying about it. You get into a video game, you're kind of wondering about things, how things are going to work. Sometimes it just takes a little bit. So, that's my thought on this too. We're just going to play through. We're going to watch it. We'll see how things go. Like I said, I'll rewatch the second episode and I'm just going to do another little video on that. It's none of this is intended to be long and not. I think the actors are doing a pretty good job. Um, in the past, when I used to look at actors when they were doing things I didn't think that they should be doing, and I come to realize, the actors are doing exactly what the director tells them to do. And if they don't do it how the director tells them to do it, they'll do it again and again and again until the director is happy. So really, whenever we complain about the acting being one way or the other, really what we need to do is we need to really call out the director and say, what kind of things are you really thinking here? Eh, that's really, in my mind, where we got to, kind of lay the blame. The actors are doing what the director wants them to do. Um, and the acting has been good. I think it's been pretty good. So I don't have any issues with that. Um, there's a little bit of funny moments in there. I know in the second episode, I know that there's a couple dark things going on. When I rewatch it, and I'll kind of go over that again, that's what we're going to bring up. But that's just my view of it so far. Like I said, there's 8 episodes. We'll have 7 more of these videos. We'll talk about it. We'll go from there. And you know, we can laugh at it. We can, cover our eyes like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. Or some point, maybe some people just say, you know what, this just isn't for me. So wherever you sit in here, and I've said this before with like Star Trek and Star Wars, at some point, the way the world has gone today, instead of saying this is canon, we have to look at it and say, this is going to be part of my canon. And if someone disagrees, just agree to say, hey, that can be part of your canon, and that's not a problem. But for me to make this all make sense in my mind, this is my canon. And I think of more with like the Disney Star Wars. Most of the Disney Star Wars is what I would consider the Disney Star Wars universe. Now, do you want to put that into your own role-playing games or your own version of where you think everything has gone? Because we already have an expanded universe written out. Well, George Lucas owned the franchise, and it was all written to the same point. So which one do you accept as canon? That's up to you. That's not up to me. It's not up to anybody else. That's up to you. So with that being said, we'll just kind of end it here. I mean, I'm kind of wandering a little off of just the Fallout 4. But that's really it. I think the actors are doing good. The props look really nice. They have a very good homage to everything that's been done in the Fallout. I know Fallout in the first 2 have gotten really dark, especially in the second one. New Vegas really went in that same direction. And whether you want to say things are or are not part of whatever, that's for you to decide. So I'm not going to make any judgment on it beyond that. I'll watch the show, and even if I say, well, I think this is a little off, if all in all it feels like it's a Fallout and it feels like they're in the world, hey, that's fine. Because to look at it in another perspective, when we're playing Fallout, we all can have different outcomes. Now, typically, whenever I play these games, I'm usually the really good guy and I do all the nice things. Doesn't mean you can't go the opposite way. So if you're sitting here saying that, well, this faction won this time here and there, how do we fully know that? When you leave a game that's open, that Caesar's Legion could have won instead of the NCR, or did the NCR win, or did they annihilate each other to the fact that it's maybe the NCR lost, but House won, and in the process they're all knocked down. Who knows? Okay, just throwing that out there. However you play the game changes from how I play the game, changes to how somebody else plays the game. So for someone else to pick this up and say this may be where things had gone, or in their version this is where things went, that's perfectly fine too. So with that being said, hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.